everybody, Josh the RV Nerd here with Bish's RV with another viewer-submitted question. As I'm walking around doing all my normal RV videos, people very commonly go, "Hey Josh, why do they put a gap at the top of the bathroom door?" And the biggest reason people seem to ask this tends to be, man, I feel like somebody can peek over the top of that and look at me. Well, not even like, first of all, you'd have to be on a step stool to get your head up here. And secondly, even with just a camera and not just your head, you really can't get enough of an angle on this thing to, I think, see anything of, we'll simply say, any interest. So unless you got one of those little bendy snake Navy SEAL endoscopy kind of camera things, I don't think the privacy issue is too much of a thing, but there's more than just visual privacy some people tend to comment upon. There's also the topic of sounds and smells that happen in a bathroom space. Okay, I can acknowledge that. Regarding the audio portion of the bathroom adventures, as it were, a gap at the top of the door, or a lack of a gap at the top of the door, I don't think is really providing any significant audio barrier. Because unlike a house, like these walls typically on the inside of an RV aren't insulated. This door is a hollow pocket door. And usually there's still at least a little bit of a gap at the bottom of it. I do think you can still pretty much hear most things going through an RV. And regarding the smell factor that may be worth considering, well, personally, I think the best way to overcome that potential concern is by maybe making sure you have something like a bigger vent fan as compared to the conventional 4-inch fart fan that a lot of campers seem to come with. That, by the way, is a technical term. So that's the why people ask the question, but why do the manufacturers do this? There's a couple different reasons that I've heard fairly consistently over the years. One of the first ones is, well, we like to leave a slot at the top of the bathroom door there, so if there's excess steam and moisture buildup from the RV while you're showering, it has a chance to kind of escape out of the bathroom and not build up in too great of a quantity and, you know, cause dripping or sink into like your wallpaper, which could cause like crinklage, again another technical term, of your wallpaper there. Now, I've also heard from manufacturers like engineering departments say, well, it's actually due to the air conditioning system. And for a second, I'm like, what now? And the way they explained it actually made sense. They said, listen, you know, we can put an air conditioning duct in here and we can blow cold air into it. But unless air can get back out, you're not really going to get an effective air conditioning thing in the room. And I kind of thought about it, and I sort of thought, you know, a good example of that is just a crushed up bottle. You start going, whoops, nailed it. Anyway, you start blowing air into that thing, and yeah, you know, you can get some airflow in there up to a certain point. And then it just, again, like you can't do anymore. And at that point, you start getting very reduced airflow. And yeah, that makes sense to me. If it weren't for the fact that I've seen manufacturers contradict themselves on that a little bit, I also personally suspect, we're talking about such a small amount of cubic foot of space in here, I don't know that it really makes that big of a difference. Especially when, again, there's always a little bit of a gap at the bottom of the door. I do think that there is always an opportunity for some cyclical airflow in there. A theory that I've actually personally had for a long time, which is a little bit less pretty. And I think sometimes they do this to allow for a little bit more of the human element in the build process, because these things are not made by robots. They're made by people who are moving quickly, who, you know, sometimes I'm sure in the production line, that person just feels like they're, here's your door! You know, it's nice for them to be able to have a little bit of a tolerance to put that thing up there. Now, that theory that I have means that they install the door jamb a little bit after. If anyone is like a laborer on a production line who installs their doors with a gap at the top like this, if you could please chime in and confirm whether like that is pre-done or if that is done after, that may help actually shed some light on this situation right here. So, you know, what is the final answer on this? I'm not sure if there's one. I think the true final answer on this is probably a combination of factors, and it's really going to be brand dependent. And there's definitely manufacturers out there who are built with a more aggressive price point that probably have to adopt processes that are a little more conducive to moving quickly. There's also some manufacturers who are really focused on giving the end user the best experience possible. And I think which one of these different theories or explanations applies most is going to really depend on looking at that brand and saying, okay, what is this camper right here looking to accomplish? The tricky part about that is that every single brand and every single RV always says, boy howdy, we's the best, you know, and they're all cool for different reasons. But these are the kind of little nuanced differences that you kind of pick up on the more that you look at these things, learning the DNA, learning the personality and culture of each of the different brands. So if you appreciate the little insights today, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And any other questions you have, this was a user or a viewer submitted question. If there's something else you'd like to know about, leave me a question and I'll do my best to see if I could adopt that into a video as well. And short of that, as always, folks, appreciate it very much. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and best wishes from Bishes, everyone.